Trump's America First Aid revolution, a new era for U.S. foreign policy? A shocking shift that could redefine global aid, imagine a world where U.S. foreign aid is no longer about feeding the hungry, building schools, or fighting diseases. Instead, it is channeled towards strategic minerals, migration control, and pushing back against China's influence. This is not science fiction, it's a vision outlined in a newly revealed Trump administration document. And if it happens, it could redefine America's role on the global stage. What's changing? For decades, U.S. foreign aid has been justified as both humanitarian and strategic. Billions of dollars were spent every year through USAID and global programs, often presented as a moral responsibility to help struggling nations. But the Trump administration is rewriting that playbook. According to the document sent to Congress, nearly $1.8 billion in aid will be reprogrammed to align with the America First doctrine. Priorities will shift from traditional humanitarian support to strategic investments that serve U.S. security and economic interests. Key areas of the new plan: 1. Europe and energy security for $100 million is earmarked for projects in Ukraine, Greenland, and Europe. Focus: critical minerals, energy security, and economic resilience to reduce dependence on Russia and China. 2. Latin America and immigration for $100 million targets Latin America. Aim to curb illegal immigration, strengthen borders, and counter anti-American Marxist governments in Venezuela, Cuba, and Nicaragua. 3. Confronting China funds will be redirected to challenge China's rising influence in global trade, infrastructure, and resource control. 4. Scrapping the old Modellus aid, America's traditional aid agency, is already being dismantled. The new message: no more charity-based aid. Instead, foreign assistance will be treated as a tool to advance U.S. power and priorities. Supporters versus critics. Supporters argue this is long overdue. Why should American taxpayers fund projects abroad that don't directly benefit the U.S.? In their view, Trump is simply bringing realism and accountability to foreign aid. Critics warn, however, that this could destroy America's soft power, the goodwill built over decades of humanitarian assistance. Aid has often been the glue holding U.S. alliances together. If cut or redirected, poorer nations may turn to rivals like China or Russia for support. The bigger picture: this shift is more than a budget adjustment, it's a philosophical transformation. Foreign aid has always been a blend of charity, diplomacy, and strategy. Trump's America First version strips away the charity and doubles down on strategy. The question now is, will this make America stronger and more respected, or will it isolate the U.S., leaving space for adversaries to win hearts and minds abroad?